So, hi everyone. So I'm Olivia, and Kelsey and I were fortunate enough to be given the topic of nutrition and neuroendocrine tumours as our Master of Dietetics thesis project. So we're really passionate about NETs. We've learnt a lot over the last year, since probably this time last year we started researching about it, and it's now a really big area of interest for us, and we hope that we can make some sort of difference for you guys. So, in the interest of time, I'll just sort of go a little bit faster. So just a bit of background. I think it was this meeting last year that it was identified by you guys, by the patients, as an area of need, that you guys wanted more support with nutrition and what to listen to, what not to listen to, and where to actually find relevant and accurate information. So the primary aim of my project and Kelsey's project together is to develop a New Zealand relevant nutrition toolkit that will be published on the Unicorn Foundation website for you guys to use, and Kelsey will talk to you a little bit more about when that will be. And that's just a photo of us last year at a meeting. I think I met some of you last year in December. So I'm sure you guys know nutrition is really important in NETs, and as all of you have such different stories and different diagnoses, it may be more or less important to different people in lots of different ways. So people always ask me, why is NETs so specifically important for nutrition, and why is it different to other cancers? And I have to explain to people that there's just so many more things that happen with someone with a neuroendocrine tumour that is relevant for someone like a dietitian to think about. So there's not only the symptoms, that the gastro-related symptoms you can get, symptoms from treatment, also the carcinoid syndrome, which has been touched on, things like vitamin and mineral deficiencies, still can get malnutrition, things like serotonin-containing foods that you'd need to avoid for a 5-HIAA test. So there's lots of different things. When we looked at the current research into NETs and nutrition, it is pretty limited. So there are some really good information booklets from other countries. For example, that top one on the right there is the Unicorn Foundation Australia, but there is no booklet for New Zealand. There has only been one other nutrition and NETs survey done internationally. That was done in 2009 from memory in America. There's a few good key papers and a few good papers into malnutrition, but as a whole it is pretty lacking area. So our survey, could I just get a quick show of hands of who actually did this survey? Oh, that's so cool to see. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. So we sent this out, I think it was March or April. My brain's a bit fuzzy about that, but about dates. So we sent this out, and you guys were kind enough to complete it for us. So it was an anonymous survey. We sent it out on an online link, so you guys just had to click on it and fill it out for us. So results, we had 57 participants by the end of it, which was actually a lot more than we were hoping for, so we were really happy with that number. You can see quick demographics table there, but just a few key things. We had a lot more females than males, and average age was 58. Tumor characteristics, so small intestine was the most common for the primary site. That table there also just gives you a bit of information. I think these slides will be available later if you want to go back and look at some of this stuff a bit further. So symptoms. So this was sort of the most interesting findings for me. So just seeing the amount of symptoms that one patient was experiencing was really quite shocking to us. So the three most common ones reported, and this is symptoms from your actual tumour, not from the treatment, so we did separate the two of them. So the three most common were the fatigue and weakness, Gas and bloating and diarrhea, and also abdominal pain was also another one that was quite high. That pie graph on the right there shows how many of you were experiencing a great number of symptoms. So that big orange one there is 5 or more symptoms. The yellow, for example, is 15 or more symptoms. So it was just interesting to see how many at one time, how many things at one time you were having to deal with. I think the maximum number was something like 17 symptoms reported by one patient. Yeah. Dietary changes. So we asked questions around it, whether people had made changes to their diet since their diagnosis of NETs. And we found that 70% of you had, which was actually also really interesting. The most common one was reducing or cutting out sugar from your diet. Quite a few dairy-free, gluten-free, and then a lot of ones around just generally healthy whole foods and including more fruits and vegetables. And then there were also quite a few taking vitamins and minerals and herbal remedies and things like that. Nutrition info was very, very variable, so we didn't really get any pattern among the nutrition advice that was given to you guys, and in fact only 12 of you reported being provided with nutritional information out of 57, and only 7 of them were from a nutritionist or a dietitian. Basically this finding just showed us that there is a lot of confusion and people don't know what to listen to and where to go. I can see some heads nodding. So next steps for us is, I'll let Kelsey talk a little bit now, is that we're using the findings from my survey to make a nutritional toolkit. So there is a practical element to everything that I spent 5 months researching. And there has been a nutrition working group formed in ComNets, which is a good step forward. So I'll let Kelsey take over now. You won't need that.
Thanks, Liv. Hi, everyone. So I am about halfway through my project. As Liv said, she spent 5 months doing hers, so I think I'm about 2.5 months in. So what I've done is I've taken Liv's results and used these to figure out what we want to put in this nutrition toolkit, because we do recognise that there's a lack of solid evidence-based advice out there for people like yourselves. So we have 8 nutrition toolkits so far, or toolkit sheets so far, and they are currently being pre-tested by some local patients in Dunedin. And then they're going to be tested again in another group of patients who have showed their interest. And then after that, they're going to be tested in a group of dietitians who are working in this area, and hopefully within 6 or so months at max, they will be available to all of you on the Unicorn Foundation website. And the way we've done it is we've just done, so there'll be diarrhea, constipation, quite a few other symptoms, and it'll just be one single page. And if you have that symptom, you can go on, find that toolkit sheet, and hopefully there'll be some tips in there that can help you around your diet and what might help manage the symptom. So I guess that's an easy way of giving you some good nutrition advice that has some evidence behind it, and we are really excited to be able to get those to you as soon as possible. Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? So at the moment there's just quite big lengthy booklets that have all the information you could possibly need for nutrition and NETs. So our idea of having single sheets for single symptoms is that we can almost create a personalised little booklet for someone by saying, okay, so you experienced this, this and this, and you want information on this, and then it can be more specific to each patient by sort of grouping that information together and then not including stuff that isn't relevant to the one individual.